Hi, this is Damian from skatingcast.com. In this material, we'll learn more of specific things on inline skates because the last two movies were so beginner, for complete beginners. They really taught us roles, attitudes, first steps to get used to where, how I'm going on inline skates. The second film was to learn of proper falling because you already know, and if not, you're welcome to see this movie, how important it is to learn how to fall, especially when we're learning inline skate at all. And in this movie, we're gonna start to cool exercise, so we'll learn two basic things. The first thing is to brake with a heel brake, and as you can see, I don't have this brake. I'll tell you more about it in a moment, and we'll learn the first basic exercise, because we have three such basic exercises. I've always been started from these three basic exercises, because thanks to these exercises, you can really go out on a very high levels on inline skating, and if you can't do them, higher levels will be impossible to achieve for you. So the first of this exercise is called lemon. The next one will be scooter and half lemon. We start with this first, but before lemon, because you already know how to skate, for example with a simple penguin. If you don't know what a penguin is, then you're welcome to the material here. Now, we need to be able to stop, and most of you beginners at least have the brake on the right skate. Why the right leg? Well, it's done. He's always on one leg only. Why not on two legs? Well, because on two at once you're not gonna braking. That standing on your heels, it's quite difficult. So it's definitely on two skates you won't brake at the same time. It's enough on one. It's usually assumed that this is right inline skate. I don't have a brake because I'm already at an advanced level. The first of all. Secondly, I've got the hockey inline skates. I'm a hockey player, I'm a hockey coach, so hockey inline skates in general they are not equipped with a heel brake. Why don't they have a brake? Because when someone plays hockey, or if he's learning to play hockey, can do the basic techniques of stops. I know more than 20 different braking techniques, so my brake would just disrupt me. Disrupt in what, for example? For example, at crossovers. I could hook up here. There are a lot of inline skates that are not equipped with a heel brake because actually already in this basic course you're gonna be able to stop on two techniques without a heel brake. Okay, that's end of initial information. We're starting to learn. Most of people who have this brake and don't know too much how they can use it, they skate and usually have legs parallel, and there's something like that. Okay, here's the brake, so I guess I have to do something like that. And then they pick up actually toes up and start braking. But this is a mistake, because this brake, yeah, it works that way that you have to bet an inline skate on the last wheel, like a heel, but there are a few dependencies. Talk about it quite fast. First, if you want to learn how to brake with this heel brake, you must to skate in a scissor position. And now, what is the scissor position? Scissors in inline skates is something like that. Look, this way. It's like the scissors, actually. You'll have to can already skate in this position. So the first thing you learn is a few first steps to start skating. It could be even a penguin. Then you do a narrow position and act right skate forward. But by how much and how? A very common mistake is, as I say, scissors are people who often say, look, this is my position now, my legs are parallel. Very often, as I tell my students, do the scissors, this is what they do. They give one leg back and one leg forward. What does that mean now? It means that my center of gravity is exactly between those two legs. So my legs are equally heavy, 50-50%. But it can't be like that. Because scissors, in this case, and in most situations of inline skates, we're doing this way that I have a position, hip width, my knees bent, my three golden rules are maintained, and now see, only one leg I'm extending, and I can pull it out half a skate, which is like a half skate just ahead of my leg up, or a whole skate, or even more. That's okay, you can do it this way. But look at this, that leg under my backside stayed here, that leg didn't go back. Why? Because if legs went back, you guys are gonna have shown at this point. My head shows where is my center of gravity. And in this moment I have it between my legs. And I don't want to have it between my legs, because when you're learning to use heel brake, you must have all your body weight on your leg under your backside, under the position. And the foot with the brake, which you're gonna scissor and slide it forward, it's supposed to be like as a feather. When I tell the kids, I tell them which leg is heavy as an elephant. Then they show me. Then I ask them which leg is light as a feather. And they show me that is that leg that's supposed to brake. And this is how you're supposed to learn. I'll show you what it looks like. A few penguins. I extend my legs at the width of my hips, one leg forward, my right because I have their heel brake and I'm trying to skate in this position. Legs on the middle of the wheels. So what now? How is the weight distribution here? I'm actually on my leg underneath me, and that's about 80% of my weight. The leg in front weighed as much as it got the weight of its own weight, which is like we'd cut off that leg. Well, it's weighed something, right? So it's only got so much weight how much this leg weighs by itself. The whole of my body weight is here. So I have two narrow legs and my head is over that leg that holds my body weight. The knees band covers my toes in my inline skate. I can't do this way. I must cover the tips of my toes with my knee, because in other way it will be unstable position. I'm showing from the side way. So I've got the momentum, my legs on the width of my hips, and one of my legs was extended. That's all. That's how it looked like. All the body weight here. Rest on my left leg. And then what? When we have something like this, it's the right leg, we're picking it up on the last wheel. And we're not trying to push it yet. I'm doing with my students so that once we have this position, we'll spread out weight, that is 80 to 20%. Then during this time, like, I'm trying to bend a leg with a brake on the last wheel so that this brake touches the ground. And then what? Not pressing this leg. It's very the beginner mistake that I'm trying to press this brake and then it happens something like that. A bit like the front brake on a bike or motorcycle if you ride at them. So here we still have 20% of body weight. The leg is in front of us. Because what happened if before you try to brake with your legs parallel, it was every time like this. Such a stroke forward. This position wasn't stable then. You must know that here I have most of the body weight. The leg in the front is light, I put it on heel and I don't press it to the ground. And your first task with the heel brake, it is not to stop ASAP, which would be illogical in principle, because at the end we want to stop as soon as possible. But at now, just for practice, you want to stay in it for as long as possible slide. In fact, it's not a slide, but we want this brake to touch the ground as long as possible, and we will slowly stop, a bit like that freight train. But this is to learn position and maintain that position, because that's the point. Actually, the hardest thing about it all is to keep the position, because everyone focuses on that leg that it's gonna break, but really the leg under my position that keeps my weight of the body is the key leg. It's doing a dirty job. Nobody see it. Nobody's looking at that leg. But if I hear I'm gonna have a misbalanced weight and give these legs bad, it will be on the side somewhere, it will just be in the wrong place, I'm not gonna make it. So this is an exercise to learn how to maintain this position in once the brake touches the ground. I'll show you. This leg is light, this leg is heavy. I'll show you in front of you. So I've already moved, I extend my leg, put my weight here, that leg hop on the last wheel, I'm trying to skate like this. And we're trying to get us here to not throw on every side. This position is supposed to be stable. That way we still have our three golden rules are preserved even though one leg is in the front. Well, you're trying to extend your stay with the position when you brake, actually it's still gently braking. Not great, but it does touch the ground. And then what? We can turn on second gear on this braking. For example, I suppose you can do 2-3 meters break that touch the ground, 5 to make it best. Then, when you catch with a break on the ground and that leg is as light as we want to it be, this one is heavy, so you're that gonna bend over in that leg who's doing this dirty job. Bend it more in this knee. What will happen? The leg that touches with an heel break, it breaks more effectively. It will do, you see that? It will be more pressed into the ground. And here you have like one way and another. So the first one doesn't break at all. It just grabs the ground, and the latter accelerates braking is actually then we press brake to the ground. I'll show you sideways. It's already touched the ground and down. How it all looks here. A very common mistake is that once it touched the ground, the brake, and I'm gonna knee harder, then all of a sudden this leg starts to slide down to an even position. It can't go down evenly. We still want to have the brake in front of us and to hold that position that here. It could even be a knee straightening out. Maybe we can press it down. We can rest our hand on this leg, but we don't want to make it while pressing this brake to the ground. Our legs will be equal again. This is a very common case. If you're doing this in that way, you have to prevent it. Like I always tell it in pictures, if you already have your driver's license and you drive, it's like you're Damian yourself, yes? Really on the gas pedal. It's like you're pushing the gas to the bottom and your left leg would be able to deny the side and you deny it strongly. You don't let that leg go back to this position. Because you're supposed to have the whole position here stable and that leg in front will slow you down. When your leg returns to this position, you're in an unstable position again, and here's at the top there's going to be this kind of situations, and we already know that we don't want us here somewhere to throw like this. I want a stable position. This is how you learn to brake. It's very effective braking, because even tests were done. You can look for YouTube that you're actually braking. The heel brake is most effective most of all possible braking techniques on inline skates. I'm quickly gonna show you again what it should look like. I'm going, legs close, weight on my left leg, the right leg touched the ground with a brake, and now I'm pressing down. And the latter way, when I press down, you have to keep. And then it starts really effective braking. We're getting on that right leg, so the brake in the front, they're gonna get tight. A very common mistake is the brake on the side, beyond my position. It's my hip width. I should have it in that way. So when I give my legs a little bit wider, the rotation will automatically start. It's the same like a calipers, and we will be doing like this. It's not that bad because it's also there is a way to stop, but we certainly don't want it on a beginner level. We prefer to use our heel brake, and typically when we put skate on the side or we'll put the brake on like this, somehow SQ position to the ground, it will turn us around and throw the whole position away. During braking alone, if it's difficult to keep you in that position, you can accept that this knee went down, give your hands wide, then they will stabilize you. If you have ever been in a circus or you've seen some other show, when someone balances on a rope, they actually have this big briefcase, and this helps to keep the balance. That's why we give our hands in either this way or that way. That will help you. Alright, so I think the subject of breaking this first, using the heel brake, we're closed now. I think we can move to the lemon. I'm gonna throw you on the deep water, means just I'll show you how I do it. And you too, when you go out on inline skates, just try to copy it, and in a moment I will tell you technically what exactly is going on here. Okay, lemon exercise looks like this. My legs actually seem to want to miss some giant lemon or just draw a lemon shape. And now, what's going on here? Really, lemon is a way to move without lifting your legs off the ground. A few things are going on here. First of all, we work on our knees. That's the first thing. Without a job on knees, we can't do a good lemons. But at the very beginning, you can try it at all. And if you have a slight slope, like I've got a light slope here, it will be easier for you to model yourself lemon making motion. A few steps to get some speed, and you're trying to get your legs up that way. Simply lemon. Once you can do it that way, we're starting to have fun technically. Now we cut through our lemon in half and we make one half and the second half. The first half it's easier for each of you. By doing V position with our wheel edges in the middle parts, on the glides or on internal, as it may be, provide that at the same time I'll kneel down and lean forward, skates will move on their own. Really, try it! By yourself, at the same time lean forward and bend your knees, you're gonna roll to the lemon, and that's what we're talking about. This is the first such lemon initiation. Just skates start to go. Try it. Really check that. I'm not cheating on you. If I have a position like this and I'm gonna get down on my feet pretty soon, we'll talk about it. And I'll bend down. Really, the skates move on their own? And now it was like the first half of our lemon. Now that I've bent my knees before and I leaned forward so that the inline skates go to the lemon, so I already have this one wide range, a little wider than my shoulders, a little bit without exaggeration, because that's what we'll also talk about these mistakes during lemon, not to make twine. So what now? If I bent my knees before, now to get back with that lemon, I'm gonna need those knees up and pull my toes together back. Look how it looks. It's very difficult to do that from standing up. I mean, for advanced it's not difficult, but at first it can be difficult to get back that way. Because this is where the knee work is. And here must be the knees, down and up, down and up. I'll try to show you sideways. A little slower for you to notice how I work on my knees and what is happening with those legs. Okay, and this is actually the hardest moment when you have to go down those legs to each other, because it doesn't look difficult, but there's a lot of coordination here, and at the same time you have to coordinate a few things off. Firstly, I need to have a proper wide, because when I have my legs here or I have them too wide, it's bad, I can't do it then. I have to have a good width, a basic for getting back to position. The second thing, I need to bend my knees over the well bend. Third thing, I have to do this at the same time. Straighten up vibrantly, knees, and pull your toes together, but we never want to do something like that, so that your toes can collide with each other. Remember one of our 3 golden rules: legs don't touch, never. Okay, there's one exception, but it's only when we want to stand and not going anywhere. Then we really want our legs were touching. So here it really looks like trivial simple exercise, but as I start to do with my students the technical side of the lemon, then the problems begin, because the real work of the lemon is done. It's not like it could have seemed at this moment, because the skate started to move. But the actual lemon's work is when you really get some extra push. This is the return, the second half of the lemon. And maybe you can hear on the microphone where it's the moment when my skates really get the rushing out and getting an extra push. You could clearly see that the lemon's exit was faster than entrance. Look, I'm going, and I get out of the lemon much faster, because very well coordinated upping center of gravity, that is right on the knee, pretty energetic, with the attraction of your legs. Why do we have to do it in this way? Because the moment when I vigorously straighten, in inverted commas, I will say it because you never straighten knees quite straight up. As normal as we walk on shoes, I always speak in that way to such a deflection from full knee bending to half bending. You already know about these positions from the first move. So vigorously straightens my knees, so I'm still half bent, but from the full bend for a light bend. At this point, what's happening? Our mass, your own, how much you weight, for fraction of a second is pressed down to the ground, and this is the moment when we have more grip and it's easier to get us back with these legs. There's always a problem here, usually really 90%. There's a problem to coordinate it, so like I said, it's okay if you got a lightweight slope. You will be able to go down the slope for better coordination. But later, when you go up a hill, there's already technical work. This exercise seems very simple, but in fact, lemon can be really fast. You can start learning lemon at all, because first you're gonna get a little bit more speedy, and then you're trying to make lemon, so you've already had some speed. And then you can make lemon from the place, which is more difficult, but see, I do it now, and in fact, if I didn't have a turn here, then I would be very quick to get going, because somewhere up to 4 or 5 lemons I'm still able to get a lot speed and skate really fast, some about 20 kilometers for an hour, which only lemons. So what? You're just working on especially those knees. What I said before, so it wouldn't be so slow and going up, because that lemon, it won't be lemon but sausage. You won't do it a diversion and quick descent, just you will start making such sausages. So it's gonna look like this. The skates go long and they come back too late. A very common mistake. People, they are dragging this traffic and going too long, and then they lift their weight too slowly, and they actually stop instead of rushing. Here, this jab on your knees, it really has to be up down, up down. Work is pretty intense. We want to make a lemon, then I go down and up. And again I can go, see, down, up, and end of the lemon. I can finish it. But another lemon, it's down again and fast up. Your reaction must be pretty fast so as not to drag it of movement, because then it's just we're not gonna make it. Another mistake is that we make a lemon to such positions which is very broad. Then it's hard for us to come back to the position. Let's not overdo it. The width of our shoulders or a little bit wider. But let's not overdo it. Let's not make it so wide. The next mistake is that people, they're trying to lemon all the time on the middle of the edge. That is, see the middle of the wheel's edge. Leave the middle of the edge to oneself in the moment if you have legs at your own hips width. On the other hand, when they are going wider and are wider than our shoulders, let them lean on the inside edges. It's natural that having your legs go wider, you go on this edge. So here we take advantage of the fact that we move smoothly from the central part of the wheel edge to the inner, and they're coming back to the middle of the edge. Now pay attention only to on how my edges walk. Middle of the edge, I go down on the inside and up on to the middle of the edge, to the inner part and again to the middle part of the edge. and I've really got a good coordination and in accurate timing. There are skates at the right time, I pulled them together, I made 2 free lemons and now really quiet. I had a nice speed, I had to get right away, stop in front of you, in front of the camera. I think that's all. As for the lemon, let me know in the commentary what next movies are you interested in, and of course if that movie was valuable to you, please leave it a paw up. Don't forget about subscribe, because on this channel will be free course levels, and that there will be over 20 movies that really step by step to show you how to get out from beginner person to advanced inline and ice skater and speed up your development very much. I've been putting myself through some stage after it would be easier and faster for us to achieve certain goals. Since I've been teaching for over 10 years, I have my skating school, so I know a little about it. But let's go back to it, that I really thank you for surviving to the end. The ladybug attacked me. Thank you for surviving to the end of this material. So what? I'm keeping my fingers crossed for your next progress, and I'll see you there in the next material. Bye.